contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the new makers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening, this is the 5FM Radio Main News, the headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema sympathizes with traders and residents of Chingola following a fire. UNIP reaffirms its commitment to plan an active role in the governance. And US to boycott G20 in South Africa, Trump says. This bulletin is live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and live on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With details, my name is Lance Sannie Banda. President Hakainde Hichilema has sent a message of sympathy to traders and residents of Chingola following a fire that gutted Chiwempala Market on Tuesday night on the Copper Belt. Addressing the gathering this afternoon, the president described the incident as deeply unfortunate, noting that many families have lost their sources of income and essential goods in the inferno. President Hichilema said his government stands in solidarity with the affected traders and is working closely with local communities and authorities to assess the extent of the damage and provide the necessary assistance. Meanwhile, investigations of the fire have been launched as officials continue to determine the scale of losses incurred. The Chiwempala Market fire has left dozens of stores destroyed, with many traders counting their losses as recovery efforts get underway.
When we saw the fire happening, we were very, very distraught. We are very sorry to all those who are trading here, who have lost their stores, who have lost their merchandise, who have lost money here. We are sorry about that. That's why we are here to find a solution to the fire that took place here.
In the meantime, President Hakainde Hichilema was forced to cut short his speech at Chiwempala Market after angry small-scale miners from Senseli Mine began pelting the stage with stones. And Governance and Development Advocate Zambia Godaza condemned the unruly behavior exhibited by the young people of Chingola in the Copperbelt province. Godaza Executive Director Elias Mulenga said the behavior exhibited today in the afternoon, stoning or throwing stones at the sitting head of state, is not Zambian and not patriotic. The citizenry of this country needs to respect the office of the president as it is the highest office in the country. He says the behavior which was exhibited today is an embarrassment to Zambia and an embarrassment to the international community as it dents our symbol of peace as a country.
It is un-Zambian and it is not Zambian, the behavior that has been exhibited. It is an embarrassment and a shame to the international community and to our nation as a peaceful country. We wish to call upon the Zambia police to quickly intensify the investigations and bring the culprits to book.
The United National Independence Party UNIP has reaffirmed its commitment to play an active role in the governance and development of the country. UNIP faction leader Lieutenant Colonel Henry Muyoba says the party remains determined to contribute meaningfully to national affairs and ensure that citizens' voices are heard. Speaking in Lusaka's Chaisa area when he welcomed a group of defectors allegedly from the Leadership Movement Party, Lieutenant Colonel Muyoba emphasized that UNIP, as the first political party to govern Zambia, understands the country's development needs and challenges better than most. He expressed concern over what he described as the continued suffering of ordinary citizens, blaming both past and present ruling parties for the rising cost of living and what he termed as economic mismanagement. Lieutenant Colonel Mioba urged Zambians to rally behind UNIP's renewed vision, saying the party stands ready to provide alternative leadership focused on economic stability and inclusive growth.
And repeat, they cannot develop Zambia using capitalist philosophy. We fought for independence, we fought capitalists in this country. And mind you that among freedom fighters, very few are educated, but we use God-given wisdom to defeat capitalism. And why should MMD, and you can bring back capitalism? First of all, I'm one of the mature politicians. If MMD do something good, I will support the good things that they are doing. If PF does something good, I will support. If it's UPND doing something good, I will support the good things because good things should develop the country. Now, in Zambia, we are lacking continuity.
A 35-year-old man from Misoka has been fined 100,000 kwacha for urging 12 undocumented Ethiopian nationals. The conviction comes as the Department of Immigration intensifies operations across the country, resulting in more than 70 convictions and over 70 arrests in just 2 days. Wivias Sinyiza was convicted by the Isoka Magistrate Court on November 5th for urging 12 undocumented Ethiopians. The department's Chief Public Relations Officer, Namanti Nshinka, says Sinyiza was arrested last month after immigration officers mounted the roadblock near Maiseni village following reports that 2 vehicles carrying suspected illegal immigrants had evaded a checkpoint in Nakonde. Mr. Nshinka says a total of 14 Ethiopians, including a mother and her child, were found abandoned in a Toyota fan cargo after a police chase. Sinyiza later surrendered to authorities. He says 12 of the Ethiopians are expected to appear in court soon for failing to report to an immigration officer upon entry into Zambia, while the mother and her child are being processed for removal from the country. Government has launched a 10.8 million kwacha aquaculture expansion project in Senanga district of Western Province aimed at boosting regional fish production, creating jobs, and strengthening food and nutrition security. The Senanga Aquaculture Expansion Project, implemented by the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission (CEC) in partnership with the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, was commissioned by the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Engineer Elias Mubanga, who reiterated the Nigerian government's commitment to fostering sustainable aquaculture as a key driver of economic transformation. Mr. Mubanga described the project as a major step towards rural transformation and a life-changing opportunity for the people of Senanga and Western Province. Western Province Minister Kapelo Ambangweta described the project as a new chapter in the region's socio-economic development. He said the investment in Senanga demonstrates government's commitment to unlocking the province's development potential. The aquaculture project features 56 floating cages, a modern hatchery capable of producing 1 million fingerlings annually, a 10-ton cold room, and a 5-ton refrigerated truck for safer fish transportation. The facility is expected to yield over 300 metric tons of fish per production cycle, creating more than 800 jobs within the community. However, CEC Director General Dr. Moreno Ngule explained that during the launch, 26 floating fish cages were officially commissioned on the Zambezi River, and over 42,000 fish fingerlings were stocked, marking the first production cycle under the project. Dr. Ngule added that the Commission's empowerment approach ensures that cooperatives receive both financial and technical support through infrastructure, training, and business development for long-term sustainability. The board establishment, PRA representative Induna Maimaneni, and praised rather the consultative approach and process that involved 27 traditional leaders across the province, describing the Senanga Aquaculture Expansion Project as a true partnership between government and traditional leadership in Western Province. Speaking at the same launch, the Director of Fisheries, Mr. Evans Mutanuka, said the Senanga initiative complements other aquaculture programs being implemented across the country. This includes fish breeding centers, cold chain facilities, and aquaculture parks in northern, Luapula, and eastern provinces. For local cooperatives with partnership and membership of over 400 will directly benefit from the Senanga project, which will serve as a pilot model to be replicated across other districts in Western Province and beyond, demonstrating how strategic partnerships between government, local communities, and development agencies can unlock Zambia's aquaculture potential. This is contained in a statement issued by Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock Principal Public Relations Officer Benny Munyama. And in other news trending this evening, government has called on residents of Luapula province to take advantage of the few remaining days of the voter registration exercise and ensure they are captured ahead of next year's general elections. And the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, through the Zambia Police Service, has destroyed over 3,000 firearms. And Trump has said the U.S. will not attend the G20 summit in South Africa over widely discredited claims that white people are being persecuted in the country. The U.S. president said it was a total disgrace that South Africa is hosting the meeting, where leaders from the world's largest economies will gather in Johannesburg later this month. South Africa's foreign ministry described the decision by the White House as regrettable. None of the South Africans' political parties, including those that represent Afrikaners and the white community in general, have claimed that there is a genocide in South Africa. In the sports news, Anuka's third vice president, Alfred Foloko, calls for unity and innovation in global sport during address to President Vladimir Putin at Russia Country of Sport Forum. Alfred Folokov, Anuka's third vice president, urged greater global unity and innovation in sport during the 13th International Sports Forum Russia, Country of Sports in Kazan, Russia. Speaking before His Excellency Vladimir Putin, President of Russia, and all other distinguished delegates, Foloko conveyed greetings on behalf of Anuka President Mustafa Birav, who also serves as Vice President of the Association of National Olympic Committees, ANOC. He expressed Anuka's deep sense of fraternity and solidarity while wishing success to all participants in the high-level forum. And now, the weather.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
The evening is mainly cloudy, slightly windy and warm to mild with isolated rain and the occasional thunder. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema has sent a message of sympathy to traders and residents of Chingola following a fire that caught at Chiwempala Market on Tuesday night in the Copperbelt province. The United Nations Independence Party has reaffirmed its commitment to play an active role in the governance and development of the country. And finally, Donald Trump has said the U.S. will not attend the G20 summit in South Africa over widely described claims that white people are being persecuted in the country. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy Hour of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.